Reverse Live has been around since the freestyle days.
You call up gay chat nights on your phone, and then you cry yourself to sleep listening to Nora Jones. Yo,
and he's battled at least a couple times every year since then. More often than not, if he gets a high-profile battle, he shows out.
Aiming with your faces, bullet hit your dome and leave a Mona Lisa on the pavement where your brains hit. That means y'all won't get the picture till I paint a bitch and make the bitchy famous. Bullet, yo.
But he's never received the same kind of looks that other people from his era got. This is more common than you'd think. Just look at Brix Belvy or Family Man Hayes. But you usually get the impression that the battlers are comfortable with where they're at. When Reverse Live battled Bobby Lee, he let us know that he wasn't. Bobby Lee was making his King of the Dot debut after going through 4 battles in Ground Zero, King of the Dot's feeder league.
You a cupcake with a lot to say. Y'all just watch me cook them on camera. I'm Bobby Flay.
Dirtbag Dan let us know what Reverse thought of this.
Reverse Live's like I'm on town business. And I'm like, oh, who you battling? And it's like Bobby Lee. I'm like, oh, why the fuck are you doing that? You know what I mean? He's like, they fucking asked me, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna make a point though. I'm gonna fucking dog walk this kid, and they're not gonna give me dudes like this anymore.
And he followed through. Reverse's first 2 rounds are stuffed with layered haymakers.
Put the stick to your noodle like a box of takeout. I aim for the head when the chopper spray rounds. Do work on your grill. Who's Bobby Flay now?
And Bobby was having a lot of trouble keeping up.
You was just up here spitting a bunch of multi-syllable gibberish.
But Reverse's 3rd round let him know it wasn't even worth it. In this round, Reverse drops all of the wordplay so he can just talk. Not really even to Bobby, but to the audience.
It's Bobby Lee! The last person J-Pro could get to rock for free!
He tells us how the match got set up.
You were supposed to be Joey G, but he got that URL look, I get it, fair. Supposed to be Eddie I, but Eddie's hair was a little outside of budget, so fuck it. They got the last dipshit who'd fly himself from anywhere.
And then turns to Bobby to put things in perspective for him.
You could have gone anywhere in the world, Versailles or Cancun, but no. You spent your hard-earned money to battle Reverse Live on day 2. Yo. So I ain't gonna say that you trash, but I will say J-Pro apologized when he gave me this match. Hey, yo. The fact you haven't made it is awkward, because you come from a class of twerks and geechies, people who knew how to move forward and push, and you're still a fucking loser who argues with grown men on the internet more than he should, homie.
After that, he turns back to us to vent his frustrations over being used as a stepping stone without seeing progression himself.
Forget this, dude. Let's talk about a burden that Reverse has got. About how I became the gatekeeper for you battle rap nerds who talk all day on the chat room about how you deserve a slot because you're top dog on some GZ event with an onslaught of B-list rappers I would dog walk. But sure enough,
he continues to say that he's still hungry despite never getting fair competition.
But I don't half step for nobody, so I don't give a fuck who gassed you up or what part of the staff you're talking to. The only thing behind the gate I keep is the body bag I brought for you.
And to cap off what is probably one of the best 3rd rounds nobody ever talks about, he redefines the spot he's in. He's not a stepping stone or a gatekeeper.
I accept my position as king of the mid-tier. The torch was passed on. The torch has been passed on from Caddy Ron. Believe it, it's real. You could claw your way through the ranks, covered in the blood of the people you killed. Make your way to the top at the brink of your skill, but you still getting sun, Bobby. I'm the king of the hill.
It's one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen, at least in battles with no chokes. And it's the battle anyone should watch to understand why Reverse is so great. Because that round, unlike his first 2, only had 2 punches. He's just such a great writer and rapper that he kept the crowd captivated and reacting throughout. And if you want a happy ending, just stop the video here. Imagine that KOTD listened to Reverse, they gave him all the plates he wanted, he had great competition, and he's one of our best today. That is what should have happened. Unfortunately, it's been 6 years since this battle, and we now know that the next opponent Reverse had on King of the Dot was Shoddy P, who at the time had a very similar profile to Bobby Lee. His biggest matchups since then were either through his friends who knew how good he was, getting bigger looks for him, or or in tournaments. At this point, he's battling maybe once or twice a year, and I have to assume it's just for fun, and it's such a waste of his talent. I wish he'd gotten a bigger push from the league, but to be honest, this isn't even that rare a story. A lot of battlers just fall through the cracks. Leagues ultimately always have to weigh out showing love to the battlers who they built up, alongside bringing in new talent for when the older battlers age out or just stop battling on their league. For the battlers they invest a little into but then end up overlooking, they get stuck in this spot where other top tiers see them as high risk, no reward, because the league didn't help them get the fan base that they deserve for it to be worth a top tier taking the risk of battling you instead of another battler who's worse and has a bigger fan base. Ultimately, because the league didn't do it for you, you have to market yourself, which is a frustration that A-Ward even talked about in his recent interview on Rap Redux Issue 1. He complained about the game being a lot more focused on social media and promotion now, and it's a fair issue to take, but I also think that we all tend to misrepresent what marketing is. Marketing at its core is just being seen as much as possible in a way that's authentic to your brand in the places that you want people to look for you. Because we've only really seen success in battle rap through contentious face-offs, Twitter spaces going at each other, and this general sense of talking down on every other battler, we tend to conflate promotion with only doing those things. But there's a lot more you can do with it. Just look at how Big K promoted his John John battle.
Glasses. Only rap about glasses. Is that an astronaut in the middle of a fucking Ouija board? Huh? Is that an MTV Moon Man in the middle of a pentagram, sir? What? Y'all nerds. That's why you reacting to that bullshit. That shit trash, sir. You not about to beat me with it, dweeb. Halt, thief! Unhand the bars. Let's keep going.
He was consistent to his brand, but different enough that he was able to make a bigger impact. I'm not saying that every battler needs to do it. I'm not really expecting anybody to be honest. I feel like most people will have cut off as soon as their reverse battle ended. But I think there's a lack of creativity in the way that people go about everything in battle rap beyond the battles. Part of why I made this channel is because I just felt like there was a type of content that I wanted to see that I wasn't getting anywhere. I think similarly, battlers can look at what they would like to see in promotion if they don't like the kind of promotion that they're seeing right now. You can always take inspiration from elsewhere. The reason I thought this would have any kind of success was because I follow a cricket channel that does something similar. I think sports and esports are great places to look at for how people promote there. But that's just my 2 cents because I don't want to keep seeing battlers I really like just falling off or waiting for a league to call them. I think there are things that battlers can do to get their name up. I'm not saying that they have to, and maybe their personality just doesn't vibe with being online at all, but I hope that the ones who do feel like they want to market themselves more don't feel like they have to conform to just what battle rap has had so far.